As we close the 150th anniversary of the Division of Wildlife, we want to take one more look back into our history. The Ohio Division of Wildlife celebrated its 150th anniversary in 2023, and with it came a chance to reflect on the creation of the agency and the extraordinary work that brought us to where we are today. Ohioans have long loved the outdoors and the many recreational opportunities it provides. Hunting, fishing, trapping, birding, and simply enjoying time in nature are cherished activities. Ohio's wildlife and their habitats have gone through many changes over the years, but it has been the people's devotion to improving the state's wildlife resources for future generations that has driven the work to overcome even the most daunting challenges. Prior to 1800, Ohio's landscape was nearly 95% forest interspersed with an array of wetlands and prairies, and wildlife was robust and plentiful. However, during the 19th century, the landscape was drastically changed. By the dawn of 1900, Ohio was a national leader in farming. More than 80% of Ohio's forests were cleared for crops and pastures, and the Great Black Swamp, a vast series of wetlands in northwest Ohio encompassing more than 1 million acres, was almost completely converted to farm fields. Ohio's waterways and lakes became polluted, and wildlife was hunted for food, bounties, and to protect livestock. Species like elk, wolves, bison, mountain lions, and blue pike were extirpated from the state, never to return. Many of today's most beloved wildlife species, such as the white-tailed deer, river otter, wild turkey, and trumpeter swans, were also lost during this time. In 1873, as public concern for the future of the state's wildlife grew, the General Assembly created the Ohio Fish Commission. With a $1,000 budget, 3 employees set out to reverse the staggering decline of Ohio's fish populations. The fledgling agency soon became the Commission of Fish and Game, and management efforts expanded to include both aquatic and terrestrial species. Game wardens were hired in every county to ensure wildlife laws were followed. Funded by the sale of hunting and fishing licenses, intensive reintroduction and stocking programs began for white-tailed deer, wild turkeys, beavers, rabbits, and a half-dozen fish species. The Buckeye Fish Car traversed the state stocking fish in many of Ohio's waterways. Ohio's first wildlife area, Roosevelt Game Preserve, was established to bolster the deer population. In 1949, the Division of Wildlife as we know it today was born under the newly created Ohio Department of Natural Resources, providing a new mission in the conservation of all species. By this time, many wildlife species had started to return to Ohio, but more work was needed to save others. In 1979, only 4 bald eagle nests remained. Over the next 25 years, their population was restored through fostering programs, monitoring, and habitat restoration. Today, Ohio boasts more than 900 active bald eagle nests. Other bird species also benefited from restoration and stocking programs. From 1986 to 1993, the division released 123 river otters into 4 Ohio watersheds. Less than 10 years after the conclusion of the restoration program, river otters were removed from Ohio's endangered species list. Otters have recently been documented in more than 75 watersheds, comprising 84 of Ohio's 88 counties. As healthy habitat increased and waterways became cleaner, several species returned to the state on their own. Bobcats, black bears, and sandhill cranes all benefited from increases in wild spaces. Land acquisitions and habitat restoration brought places like Appalachian Hills, Crown City, Egypt Valley, and Woodbury wildlife areas into the public trust. The Division of Wildlife now owns or manages more than 750,000 acres of land and 2.25 million acres of water. The Division of Wildlife's hard work over the last 150 years has resulted in successes that are measured in Ohio's diversity and abundance of all species. Walleye hatches in Lake Erie are at an all-time high, solidifying its place as the walleye capital of the world. The state's excellent white-tailed deer hunting and spring birding opportunities attract visitors from across the world. Today, millions of Ohioans enjoy the state's rich wildlife resources. But there is still work to be done, as restoration projects for Allegheny wood rats, lake sturgeon, eastern hellbenders, and freshwater mussels continue. More challenges threaten the future of our wildlife. Chronic wasting disease was discovered in our wild deer herd for the first time in 2020. Avian influenza and West Nile virus threaten our bird populations, and white nose syndrome has decimated Ohio's little brown bat populations. These challenges show just how important the continued work of the division is, and we are committed to tackling each one. Thank you for supporting the Division of Wildlife. The agency has come a long way since its humble beginnings.
All informational channels are used by division personnel.
The job is one of management.
Few conservation programs have changed more in the past generation than those in fish management.
To maintain healthy wildlife populations, it takes research from the Lake Erie shoreline by car,
Their
on foot,
wildlife
and from a
observations
plane.
furnish valuable
Good
facts
hunting
for
grounds
game
and
management.
wildlife habitat are plentiful.
Ohio's Division of Wildlife.
From the black bear to the monarch butterfly, white-tailed deer to walleye, the Division of Wildlife will remain devoted to all wildlife species through the challenges and successes of the next 150 years.